The southwestern part of Ontario is rich with farmland, and a share of this land is devoted to the activities of horse racing. There are 19 standard-bred racetracks throughout the province, from big cities to small towns. Tonight we visit one such track, Kawartha Downs in Fraserville, just outside the picturesque city of Peterborough. Good evening, everyone. Here we are on the first day of summer and the longest day of the year. Welcome to A Night at the Races from Kawartha Downs Harness Raceway. I'm James Lamore, your host, and this evening we'll be featuring the first 7 of 11 events taking place here, 3 of which will be in the Ontario Sire Stakes category. Right now, here's a man whose voice we're quite familiar with here at Kawartha Downs, the racetrack announcer, Grant Wade.
Hi, Jimmy.
Hi, Grant. I understand, Grant, you're responsible for a lot more than just the announcing here at the track.
Yeah, we're also the race secretary and the director of publicity, Jim.
So I guess that keeps you pretty busy all the time.
Well, and this week you guys showed up, so that kept us extra busy.
And what's the track record to beat here, Grant?
Mystery Skipper, 155-3. Won a tremendous trip here in 1983. I don't think these colts can do it tonight.
You don't think it's going to fall?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, regardless, we're still looking for an exciting night of racing.
Thank you
very much, Grant.
Thank you.
Okay. Also joining me is one of Ontario's foremost racing analysts. He's also a driver and the racetrack announcer at Windsor Raceway, Marty Adler, who will be sharing the evening with us. Marty, the first race out is going to be one of the big ones, Ontario Sire Stakes. What can you tell us about it?
Jim, it was 13 years ago that the Ontario Racing Commission felt that racing, the racing industry that is, needed a boost. What they came up with was the Ontario Sire Stakes. They sent out directives to horsemen all over the province and said, you start breeding in Ontario, you start racing Ontario breds, we will reward you with big purses. I'll give you an example of that. Tonight, the average purse at Kawartha Downs is $1,000 a race, but in the Ontario Sire Stakes, the average goes up to over $10,000. And when these horses, these very same horses, race at the big tracks in Toronto or Hamilton or Windsor or London, they will go for close to $100,000. And that's what the Sire Stakes has meant to this industry, Jim.
So it is getting better then all the time.
Bigger and better all the time. Over $8 million so far to be given away this year.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Marty, I noticed the horses are coming out onto the track now. We're just about ready for the post of the first race. I'll tell you what, why don't you run it down for us?
The number 1 horse is Daylon Blue. He is the favorite, the horse to beat. 2 is Only Omaha, the driver Carmen High. 3, Paso Tango, the driver Francis McNeil. Number 4, Romano Sealster. You like a long shot? This one has a shot. He's won 4 out of 6 races so far this year. Number 5 is Armbro Element with Reg Gassian in the bike. 6, Perfect Buck, the local favorite. Gord Brown does the driving. He's won 3 in a row at the record of 57-3. Number 7, Philadelphus, now being driven by Ken Hardy. 8 is CP Lord Chaz, the driver Ray McLean. And 9, Abidon's Amigo with Mark Stacey. Earlier, we had a chance to talk to Gord Brown, the driver of number 6, Perfect Buck. He could be the upsetter.
Perfect Buck raced super last week, winning very easily, well within himself. He trained very well for this race. And the horse I have to beat is the horse in the rail, a horse called Daylon Blue.
Horses are in the hands of the starter. It's post time. The gate swings into the backstretch for the first race, first division of the Ontario Sire Stakes. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Daylon Blue away quickly. In the center, Romano Sealster. Up on the outside, Armbro Element. Perfect Buck is 4 wide and driving. Only Omaha in the center is 5th. Abidon's Amigo 6th along the rail. Paso Tango is 7th. Racing 8th as they move into the turn, Philadelphus. And CP Lord Chaz is 9th. Around the turn on the way to the quarter, Armbro Element reaches up and gets the lead for Reg Gassian. Then along the rail, Romano Sealster. Perfect Buck on the outside is 3rd. And they pace the opening panel in 27 seconds flat. They move to the stretch. First time Armbro Element has the lead. Up on the outside, that's Perfect Buck. Along the rail, 3rd, Romano Sealster. Daylon Blue at the rail is 4th. Only Omaha is 5th. Racing 6th to the outside, Abidon's Amigo. Paso Tango 7th, Philadelphus 8th, and CP Lord Chaz is 9th. And Perfect Buck grabs the lead for Gordy Brown as they move around the clubhouse turn to the half. Armbro Element second. Romano Seelster to the outside third. Half a mile in 57 seconds. Second quarter in 30 seconds. They go to the backstretch. Final time with the lead. Perfect Buck. Romano Seelster outside is second. Armbro Element along the rail third. Delon Blue going up fourth on the outside. Only Omaha fifth with 3/8 to go. Abidon's Amigo is sixth. Philadelphia seventh. Paso Tango eighth and CP Lord Chaz is ninth. They're going to bunch up as they move into that final turn on the way to 3/4. Perfect Buck has the lead and Delon Blue is powering up 3 wide. 1:26 and 1 to 3/4. Third quarter and 29 and 1. Around that final turn and Perfect Buck is humming, but here comes Delon Blue on the outside. Armbro Element right there in third. Fourth is Only Omaha and they turn home. Final 1/8 of a mile. Perfect Buck. Delon Blue closing at him on the outside. Armbro Element. Only Omaha. Philadelphia. Final 16th of a mile. Delon Blue is coming after the lead. Perfect Buck along the rail second. Delon Blue with Perfect Buck, and here they are.
Well, Marty, was there anything unexpected there? Is that the way we thought it would happen?
The public thought it would finish 1 and 6, and that's exactly how it did finish. As we take a look at the winner's circle right now, you'll see Doug McIntosh coming back there with the winner, number 1, Delon Blue. There's Randy at the horse's head. He's the groom. There's Doug's wife, and there is Sherman Moore, a well-known and respected horseman from this area who has raced horses. All the Moorlands horses are Sherman Moore's. Now here's Doug moving up on the outside to down a horse, Perfect Buck, who really went a tough trip, parked to that quarter in 27, the half in 57 seconds, but up on the outside, Delon Blue, who had a pretty good trip most of the mile. He wins it by 3/4 of a length in 1:57 flat. Now the payoffs with Delon Blue returning $2.90 to win. It was a very small exactor, $5 for the 1/6 exactor.
Coming up a little later in the program, we're going to find out what prompted a local man to leave his lucrative business behind and get totally immersed into the harness racing industry. We're also going to talk to Mayor Sylvia Sutherland of Peterborough about the tourist industry. Right now, it's back to Grant Wade for the call of the second race.
Scoring is now complete. The horses are moving in behind the starting gate. Good field of $6,000 to $7,000 claiming pacers in this one. The favorite as they go to the gate is number 1, Puppet on Strings at $6.10. However, we like number 2, Happy Hoot, an 11-year-old Robbie Gelding. He's earned over $454,000 in his career. He was a yearling purchase of $5,000 by the Van Stables of Ottawa. Horses are in the hands of the starter. It's post time. Happy Hoot been a tough competitor here in the last few months at the ripe old age of 11 and could be tough with this field. This field is now in motion, and there they go. They're off and pacing. Happy Hoot in the center. LC's Widow Trick up to challenge on the outside. Down along the rail, Puppet on Strings. Moving to the turn, fourth, General Bing on the outside. Moorland Stew is fifth. And Pearson Lobel, last horse off the gate. Around the turn they come, past the 8th marker. LC's Widow's Trick grabs the lead for Steve Gossian. Racing second to the quarter, Happy Hoot. General Bing has dropped in third. Puppet on Strings is fourth. Racing fifth, Moorland Stew and Pearson Lobel sixth. Opening panel, 28 and 1. They move through the stretch. First time to pass the grandstand. LC's Widow's Trick on top of the field. Racing in the garden seat, that's Happy Hoot. Third, past the grandstand, General Bing. Racing fourth, Puppet on Strings. Moorland Stew is fifth. Pearson Lomel made the break in sixth. They're on their way to the clubhouse, turn in the half-mile pole. LC's Widow's Trick shows the way. Racing second around the turn is Happy Hoot with General Bing third. Puppet on Strings fourth. Moorland Stew off stride, half, 59 and 3. They move to the backstretch. Final time, showing the way is LC's Widow's Trick. Happy Hoot races second. Moorland Stew is pulled up. Third, going to the outside with 3/8 to go, General Bing. Along the rail, fourth, Puppet on Strings, and Pearson Lobel is fifth. Going to 3/4, LC's Widow's Trick. Ranging up, second outside, General Bing. Happy Hoot in the pocket is third. Puppet on Strings is fourth. Pearson Lobel fifth as they move into the final turn. And they're past 3/4, 130 flat. Around the turn they come. LC's Widow's Trick shows the way 3 parts of a length. General Bing second outside. Happy Hoot at the rail third. Puppet on Strings fourth, goes to the outside with cover. And racing fifth, Pearson Lobel. They fan out as they turn home. LC's Widow's Trick. Happy Hoot finds some room along the rail. General Bing up on the outside. Puppet on Strings is 4 wide. They're all coming to the wire together. Happy Hoot along the rail is coming on and getting up.
Well, Marty, Happy Hoot, it's a classy old horse, and it looks like he still has it. I think he just proved it.
This horse is over $450,000. That's more money than Russ Sanders has in his wallet at any one time. Here they are in the winner's circle right now. Happy Hoot, an 11-year-old gelding by Rob Ron Robbie, trained or at least driven to victory by Jerry Robinson tonight. And as they came down to the stretch, notice how the rail opened up. Happy Hoot, who was desperately locked in at the head of the stretch, comes on through. Give this horse an inch, and he takes the mile, and tonight in 2:01 and 1. Happy Hoot winning it by a length and a half. He returns 970, 533.80, finishing second the 4-horse LC's Widow's Trick, paying $410,350. The 6-horse General Bing paid $430 to show. Now tonight's daily double paid $16. The Quinella $33.20, and the Exactor paid $16.70.
Anyone looking for a rewarding yet challenging occupation could find their answer in the horse racing industry. Don Houston did. Some years ago, he left all else behind to join the ranks of the horsemen. Don, what did you do before you got into the horse trade anyway?
I was in paint and wallpaper and carpets and draperies on the retail level. I had 2 stores, one in Coburg and one in Port Hope, and staff of about 8 or 10 people.
And how long ago was that?
I've been on this farm 10 years.
Really? And what prompted you to say goodbye to all that?
Well, I had a couple of standardbreds as a hobby, and I just became fascinated with the industry, and I was spending more time on my hobby than I was with my business, so I sold the business off. I sold the main part first, and then kept one store as a kicker, then sold it a couple of years later, and devoted myself to this job.
So what were the main attractions that drew you into it?
Well, I think partly I like working outdoors, and I like the horses, and it's exciting and challenging, and it's always different. It's never the same day after day. Every day has its own ups and downs. And
yeah, how challenging have you found it?
Oh, challenging or trying?
Either, I guess.
It's been both challenging and trying, but I've certainly enjoyed it. This is one of the biggest rewards, of course, is
that right?
Raising the young foals like this.
Sure. I can see why. This one's a real actor. So, how many horses do you have at this operation? How big is it?
Well, during the breeding season, which is, we're at the middle of the breeding season, or the peak of the breeding season now, there's probably about 65 head on the farm. During the winter time, when there's only the resident horses here, there'd probably be 25 horses on the farm. And, it fluctuates according to the breeding season.
So you have constant turnover of horses going?
Constant turnover. There's horses coming in to be bred and then going home, and then of course the yearlings are put through yearling sales, and then so there's horses coming and going, and of course a new crop born every spring.
So do you have people that come here to buy horses?
Mostly we sell them through auction, and certainly we will sell privately, but we don't. I think auction is probably the best way to sell.
What about technology? To what extent has it arrived on the scene?
Well, technology is arriving very quickly in the breeding end of the business. The majority of the horses are bred by artificial insemination, and as you're probably aware, semen transportation was approved last year, and this is going to get into a lot of high-tech stuff. I don't know exactly this time where it's all going to lead us, but already because of semen transportation, there's been improvements in the artificial insemination techniques used on the farm. So I think that basically has been a positive effect so far. The computer has been a great asset as far as researching pedigrees and giving us fast information. There may be some brother or sister to one of our horses here who's racing in California or Florida, and within a very short period of time we know what that horse has done, so we can update our pedigrees, and of course it increases the value of the stock, the younger stock related to it. So that's been important and helpful.
Don, in the 10 years that you've been here, are there any changes that you can relate to?
Well, there's been some very dramatic changes in the business, particularly in terms of speed and the quality of the horses. The first stallion I stood had a record of 58-3, and the present headliner in the barn has a record of 52-4. So you can see
It's considerable.
the great improvement there. And we've also seen that type of improvement on the racetrack in the Ontario Sire Stake races. The original colts went around 2 minutes now. 57 and 56 is not unusual. And there's a great effort on the part of the breeders, I think, to improve their broodmare band. They're buying better mares, culling their worst mares, and there's great improvements. You know, people see the speed on the track and they sometimes scratch their head and wonder why, but the quality of the horse is improving. The quality of the training methods is improving. I think and a lot of this is attributed to the fact that we have better purses to race for, particularly through the Sire Stakes program. We now have a program right here in Ontario where a horse can make $100,000 by racing solely in Ontario and both in his 2- and 3-year-old year. So the Sire Stakes program has been a big push to help us to improve our stock and to improve racing for the fans, I think.
We're getting set now to bring you the second division of the Ontario Sire Stakes, a purse of $11,000. 3 horses that are the main contenders in this event. The 5-horse Tar Pit with Ronnie Waples Jr. in the bike has been the favorite last 3 starts. Maybe the pressure is off. Maybe he'll get the job done. But here tonight, the folks are making the number 1 horse House Account the favorite. The 2-horse Kawartha White Owl, if he is right, could be the one. He was a demon last year as a 2-year-old. You are from Orangeville. We understand that this Kawartha White Owl is a horse that came from the Orangeville area. Do you kind of like Kawartha White Owl?
I kind of like him, sure.
What is your name?
Tom Kelly.
Tom, okay. You like him tonight, do you?
Yeah, I like him tonight.
Well, if Tom likes him right now, he's $14. That's what he'll pay for a $2 ticket. Let's go up to Grant and we'll see how things turn out in the second division of the Ontario Sire Stakes.
The horses are in the hands of the starter for the third race, second division of the Ontario Sire Stakes. It's post time. The gate swings into the backstretch for the third race. And there they go. They're off and pacing for the Moy together. Shepherd's Purse up in the center of the track. House Account down along the rail. Willie Wonderful powering up from the outside. Moving away from the gate along the rail. That's Kawartha White Owl in 4th. Tar Pit 5th along the rail. On the outside 6, Dino's Desire. Skipping Pencer is 7th. Daniel Herbert 8th. Hobby's Champ is 9th. And DC Splurge made the break. They come over to the quarter. Reg Gossian shows the way with Shepherd's Purse. The Armbro Place Colt reaches the quarter in 28-4. They move through the stretch. First time, that's House Account 2nd. He's not content. He's on the move on the outside. Right on by House Account. Gets the lead for Dave Boughton. Shepherd's Purse 2nd. Willie Wonderful 3rd. Tar Pit outside 4th. Kawartha White Owl is 5th. Skipping Pencer 6th. Dino's Desire is 7th. Daniel Herbert 8th. Racing 9th into the turn is Hobby's Champ. As the field moves round the turn to the half-mile marker, House Account has the lead. Up on the outside, Tar Pit, and they're halfway home in 1 minute, 2/5 of a second. In the pocket, Shepherd's Purse 3rd, Kawartha White Owl outside 4th. Willie Wonderful is 5th. 6th as they go to the backstretch, Skipping Pencer. 7th, Dino's Desire, Daniel Herbert 8th. Hobby's Champ is 9th with 3/8 to go, and DC Splurge is pulled up. They approach 3/4, and on the outside, Tar Pit goes after and gets the lead for Ron Waples. House Account down along the rails 2nd. Kawartha White Owl to the outside 3rd. Shepherd's Purse 4th, 3/4, 1:28-1. Around that final turn, Tar Pit's flying. House Account is 2nd, racing 3rd. Kawartha White Owl. Shepherd's Purse 4th. Willie Wonderful is 5th. Skipping Pencer is 6th as they turn home. 1/8 of a mile to race. Tar Pit. House Account going to try him again in the final 16th. House Account in the center. Tar Pit down along the rail. Those two battle it out coming to the wire. Tar Pit and House Account. Tar Pit inside. House Account outside. Tar Pit. Here they are.
Well, Tar Pit finally gets the job done. He was the favorite in his last 3 starts. Tonight he goes a rough trip, but he gets the job done, pacing a mile in 1:57-2. As Tar Pit now leaves the winner's circle, that's the groom taking him back. But take a look at Tar Pit on the right-hand side. Up on the outside is House Account. He was the one who made the move in front of the grandstand. Tar Pit got parked from about the 3/8 on home. Tar Pit takes the lead. House Account comes back at him again right here. Tar Pit hangs on to win this one, 1:57-2. The payoffs, Tar Pit return 310, 240, 240. Industry. Finishing second, number 1, House Account, the local favorite. He paid $283. And number 2, Kawartha White Owl, finished third, paying $3. The Triactor, as you see right there, 5, 1, and 2, pay $26.10.
Associated with the harness racing industry are a number of other related activities, including tourism and recreation. I'm sitting now with Her Worship, the Mayor of Peterborough, Sylvia Sutherland. And Sylvia, we've enjoyed our stay here in this beautiful city of Peterborough with all its parks and whatnot.
We got Trent University.
Yes.
And we also have Sir Sanford Fleming College, and I'm delighted you enjoyed your stay here. I'm delighted to have you here.
It's a beautiful campus, and of course we've got the lift locks, which have become famous in their own right. And we have Kawartha Downs.
We have indeed Kawartha Downs.
The racetrack. Now,
well, it's very important to Peterborough. It's not actually in the city, but certainly the people who visit Kawartha Downs, I think, spend some time and come and visit the city and visit Trent and visit the lift lock and visit our stores in Main Street, which makes everybody happy in the malls. But also it's important to the city from the point of view of employment. I am told that, in fact, it's the 14th largest employer in Peterborough, or in the Peterborough area, and if you bring the horsemen into the picture, so far as the city of Peterborough is concerned, it's the 5th largest employer. So it's very important, and also I think it gives an air of excitement.
Yes,
it's
right.
that, it's just great.
do you think it affects a number of other facets in the city that perhaps we don't even know about?
Well, anybody who makes money spends money, and so therefore it obviously it affects the merchants, it affects our tax base, it affects all sorts of things. Sure, it's impossible. I haven't thought of the spin-offs, but it's like any other center of employment. There are numerous spin-offs from it.
Are there any particular times of the year that you find that it may bring in more people or attract more?
I suppose the summer when people are, looking to travel a little bit anyway, but it's great that it's going all winter because, it also at a time when, perhaps we wouldn't be getting the number of visitors to the city, that it brings some, and the so-called shoulder seasons in the tourist industry. Like, we have a lot of people coming up in the summer anyway, but in the fall and the spring, and it's going there all the time. We are considered, at least by some, to be a retirement community. We are more than that, but certainly we are a very pleasant place to which to retire. And I'm sure for those people who like going to the races, the fact that Kawartha Downs is there has to be another plus in getting them to come and settle in Peterborough.
What? We're all set to bring you the start of the fourth race now. The folks around here are betting down a horse from Peterborough by the name of Swift Sensation. Was the favorite up to the time that we began to speak, but there's a horse that's even closer to the racetrack from right here in Fraserville, Jim.
That's right. Linz Roney, number 3, and the driver's Derek Newman. I'll tell you what, why don't we go down and see how Derek is calling this race?
Okay.
The horse has been training really well this week. She didn't have any room to stretch. Last time she raced super. The horse I think I'm going to have to beat will be Skipper's Fanny.
The horses are in the hands of the starter. It's post time. This field is now in motion. And there they go. They're all fan pacing. Linz Roney in the center. B.J. Stoney at the rail. Up on the outside, Double Barrel. Far outside, Skipper's Fanny. Garmore Sally away 5th. Swift Sensation is 6th. Abs Canadian 7th. And Senior Dup, last horse off the gate. Around the turn, past the 8th marker, still too wide and battling. Double Barrel reaches up, gets the lead for Alan Nichols on the way to the quarter. Linz Roney along the rail 2nd. Skipper's Fanny tucks in 3rd. B.J. Stoney 4th. Abs Canadian going the long mile 5th. Opening panel 29-3. They move through the stretch. First time to pass the grandstand. Double Barrel has the lead. Linz Roney in the garden seat. Past the grandstand, 3rd. Skipper's Fanny. B.J. Stoney 4th. Abs Canadian outside 5th. Garmore Sally is 6th. Senior Dup is 7th. And Swift Sensation 8th. They approach the clubhouse turn with Double Barrel showing away. Linz Roney races 2nd. Skipper's Fanny 3rd. Abs Canadian grabs 4th on the outside. Along the rail, 5th around the turn, that's B.J. Stoney. 6th is Garmore Sally. Half a mile, 1:02.2. They move to the backstretch. Final time, Double Barrel has the lead. Linz Roney is second. Up on the outside, third, Abs Canadian. Along the rail, 4th, Skippers Fanny Garmore Sally going up 5th. B.J. Stoney is 6th, Seniored up 7th. And Swift Sensation, last horse at the 5/8 pole. Moving down the backstretch on the way to 3/4, Double Barrel has the lead a half a length. On the outside, Abs Canadian. In the pocket, nowhere to go, Linz Roney. Skippers Fanny outside is 4th. They're at 3/4, 1:32.4. Around that final turn, Double Barrel. Now Abs Canadian sticks her nose in front. Looking 3 wide, Skippers Fanny. Linz Roney at the rail. Seniored up, powering up on the outside. The field turns home, an 1/8 of a mile to race, and they're all right there together. Outside, Skippers Fanny. In the center, Abs Canadian. Linz Roney finds some room. Seniored up on the outside. Skippers Fanny drawn away, and here they are.
Well, the number 3 horse, Linz Roney, was locked in there coming around the final turn, finally got loose, and up for second for Derek Newman Jr., which is not bad. Here into the winner's circle is the winner, number 8, Skippers Fanny. This horse is owned by Campbell Sales Stables of Coburg, driven to victory by Bryn Campbell. New lifetime record of 2:03. Skippers Fanny, the winner. Moving up here on the outside. Now look on the very outside, closing up now. Here's the 3 horse, Linz Roney, who is locked in, charging up on the outside to take over second place. But the winner, number 8, Skippers Fanny from Coburg, Ontario. Skippers Fanny returned 16.50, 8:10, 4:80. Finishing second, number 3, Linz Roney, 16.70 to place. She went off at 17-1. And paid $6.80 to show. The 5 horse Abby's Canadian paid $8 to show. The exactor $538.80.
Many a farmer has reserved a few acres of land dedicated to the training of horses. This track, known as Grasshopper Flats, is just one of the many that dot the province. Memories of days gone by at these tracks are still vivid in the minds of many veteran horsemen.
Well, that old hat there is 35 to 40 years old, and Grant and Wade asked me to bring this hat with me today, and this old uniform is 35 to 40 years old.
Is this what you used to drive with?
That's old soft hats is what we drove with in 1950 and so on.
Maybe you can tell me, do horsemen ever retire, or do you stay on with it?
No, they owe so much money they can't. They got to keep going till the bank closes.
And how long has it been since this judge's stand that we're in was active?
Well, this judge's stand has been here for, I think, close to 40 years, 35 to 40 years.
How long ago would it have been that the last race was here, do you think?
I would say the last race here would be approximately 20 years ago.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Jack, can you tell me what sort of changes you've seen, both in the style of tracks that are around now, as well as the quality of horses? What changes have you seen take place?
Well, I tell you, I think myself, I haven't had a lot of horses eligible for Ontario Sire Stakes. When you're talking to a man that's 72 years of age, I still maintain that I still like the old 5% Breeders' Awards, and I thought that was a good advertisement for harness racing too in Ontario years ago. But the Ontario Sire Stakes is certainly, you can't win a race in Peterborough anymore unless you're going 2-1 or 2-2, and I don't care whether you got a 25 claimer or what you got. I think Ontario Sire Stakes have been good for racing in Ontario.
Over the years, women have joined the ranks of the horsemen, and Grasshopper Flats continues as an active training track.
I can see a lot more women now than what there were like when I was a kid with the horses. Like, there are just all kinds of women involved now, training and grooming and this type of thing.
And a number of the different aspects associated with it.
A few years ago, you just didn't see them.
Is there a standard way now to go about training a horse, or does everybody have their own methods?
Well, most of them are sort of the same. Now there's interval training, which Mr. Sherwin here does.
Oh, yeah.
And then normal training. So it depends on the horse, too. If you have a horse that's sore, you can't train him as hard as one that's sound. So.
Yeah. You're a driver as well. Is it better for you to train the same horse that you're going to drive, or does it matter? Does a horse know the difference?
Oh, they know the difference, yeah. And sometimes a horse that you train yourself will race better for somebody different.
Is that right?
And then it's the opposite is true too. If you train the horse, you know its little quirks and habits.
At tracks like Grasshopper Flats, many patient days are spent training Ontario Sire Stakes hopefuls.
I mean, myself, I took a horse to Toronto to race last night. I raced for $5,000, and that's the biggest purse that I think that I've raced for in my lifetime in the horse business, other than some Ontario sires. And it's got to be an attraction. I mean, it costs so much anymore. Your vet bills, your feed, harness, gasoline. You used to buy a pickup truck to truck these horses around in a trailer. You could buy a good half-ton pickup truck for $2,500. Now you're paying $12,000, $15,000 for them. And there has to be some increase in, you go where you can get some money on them. With me, it's a hobby, but it's not a hobby that you want to keep constantly pouring money down the drain. And then if you've got a horse that you figure is capable of being competitive at places where there are higher purses, then naturally you're going to go there. We've raised heck of a lot of good horses here in the last few years that go down to the United States and are competitive down there, and we certainly have brought along a lot of good drivers and trainers. Mm-hmm. I think that speaks for itself. All you got to do is pick up the paper and see who the leading drivers are and see where they come from. They're Canadians. And I think that's something that the industry should look upon itself as taking as being something to be proud of.
Is there a certain amount of prestige that's associated with an owner of an Ontario Sire Stakes horse?
Oh, sure. Sure, that's the deal. Everybody, there isn't a man that's in this business. When he raises a colt, he breeds a mare, he picks out a stallion, and in the back of his mind, he thinks somewhere 3 or 4 years down the road, I'm going to be the guy that's got the best Ontario sires. That's human nature, and I think that incentive will always have to be there. It should be there. Sure, the prestige of having an Ontario Sires winner, even to win one Ontario Sires is a plateau that everybody aspires to, and damn few make. Damn few make.
Okay, we're coming up to the 5th, and I see we've got a field of 6, Marty. It's a preferred pace and one of the larger purses here tonight of 2,000.
That's right, and I guess you could tab this race as the Battle of Peterborough. The horse's number 1, Acquired Skill, is owned by Judy Johnson of Peterborough, and number 2, Columbia Jim, is owned by Ken Robson of Peterborough. And I think this is where you're going to find most of the competition. The other horses in the event: number 3, Moorlands Rust; number 4, 4 Bits; number 5, Amrock Star; and number 6, 7, S. Scott. Now, earlier, Jim had a talk with the driver of number 2, Columbia Jim, Murray Salmons.
This Jim horse, he raced real well last week. He paced a good trip. He went a mile 2 minutes 4/5. He was in a little tougher than what he has been. He's won his last 2. This week he's trained real well. He's only got the one horse to beat this week, and that's the one horse who won 2 minutes flat last week. And I would imagine likely I'll probably race off the front end with him and try to cut my own race for him and hope for the best and hope he gets there.
The preferred pacers are in the hands of starter Gord Channing. It's post time, and the gate swings into the backstretch for the 5th race. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Acquired Skill away quickly at the rail. Columbia Jim between horses with Moorlands Russ. Up on the outside, Amrock Star. 7S Scott far outside. 4 Bits, last horse off the gate. Now Columbia Jim grabs the lead and opens a length for Murray Salmons at the 8th pole. Amrock Star in the center, Acquired Skill at the rail. 7S Scott outside 4th. Moorlands Russ around the turn is 5th, and 4 Bits is 6th. Columbia Jim shows the way. Amrock Star up on the outside 2nd. Acquired Skill 3rd, opening panel 29-3. Through the stretch, first time to pass the grandstand. Columbia Jim shows the way. Amrock Star up on the outside challenges. Right there in the pocket, 3rd, Acquired Skill. Racing fourth, 7S Scott. Moorlands Russ is fifth. And 4-bid 6 as they approach the clubhouse turn. Columbia Jim with the lead. Acquired Skill and Amrock Star battle it out for second and third. 7S Scott along the rail. Moorlands Russ looking 3 wide from fifth. And 4-bits is sixth. Columbia Jim takes him to the half in 101-1. They move to the backstretch. Final time, Columbia Jim with the lead. Acquired Skill, second a Whisker. Now Amrock Star regains second. Fourth, up on the outside with cover, Moorlands Russ. He's now going 3 wide with 3/8 to go. At the rail, fifth as they go to the backstretch. That's 7S Scott. 4-bits is sixth. They're on the way to 3/4 and they're racing 3 wide. Columbia Jim at the rail. Moorlands Russ outside. Amrock Star in the center. Acquired Skill at the rail fourth. Columbia Jim over to 3/4. 1:30-3. Third quarter, 29-2. Columbia Jim, Acquired Skill, Moorlands Russ, Amrock Star, 4-bits and 7S Scott. The field turns home. Columbia Jim has the lead with a furlong to race. Acquired Skill to a drive, second coming to the outside. Moorlands Russ up on the outside. Final 16th of a mile. Here comes Acquired Skill in the center of the track. She's getting up for Doug High. Acquired Skill home in front.
Well, Marty, you said it was going to be the Battle of Peterborough, and it turned out that way.
It sure was. Number 1 Acquired Skill, owned by Judy Johnson of Peterborough, defeated number 2 Columbia Jim, who finished second, also of Peterborough. Here comes Acquired Skill. Interesting story on this 4-year-old mare. She is in foal, and as soon as Judy Johnson found this out last week that the mare was in foal, this mare wins last week by 5 lengths, comes back and wins it here, moving up on the outside after sitting in the 2-hole most of the way, and she downs the number 2 horse Columbia Jim. Acquired Skill winning it by 2.5, make it 3 lengths. Time for the mile, 2 minutes and 3/5. Last week, she took her lifetime record of 2 minutes flat. Here are the payoffs. Acquired Skill returned $543, $310. Finishing second, number 2 Columbia Jim, paying $260, $280. The 4-horse 4-bits up for third, $390. There's the Quinella, $5.
We thought it would be kind of fun to get a couple of local and seasoned horsemen together to pick their hunches on their favorite horse. And with me, we have Leo Parnell, who is a racing columnist for the Coburg Star and the Port Hope Guide, as well as Ron Isaac, who is a 35-year veteran of the horse racing industry, been a driver, a trainer, and an owner. Tell me, Leo, what's your hunch?
Well, the one I like is the 6-horse, Starlight Dream, driven by Murray Salmons.
And what's the reason for that choice?
Well, there's some there that all look like breakers. I don't know. And Murray, he's been driving this one all along, and I think he can win it easy.
Looks pretty promising.
I think so. I don't know, but I've been wrong before.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, and Ron, what do you think?
Well, my horse, James, is the 4-horse, Acacia's Colt. He's a veteran, a 6-year-old gelding, Dream of Glory Colt. Dream of Glory, of course, has produced the best in Ontario. Mm-hmm. He has a lot racing in the Sire Stakes. I realize that he's just qualified in 2-4 and 4 over this track, but he is a seasoned veteran, and I'll go with Doug High and Acacia's Colt.
Alrighty, so in just a few moments, we're going to find out who had the better hunch.
Preferred trotters for the 6th race for $1,500. Number 1, Park Hill Garnet. 2 is Should Place. 3, Kawartha One Step. 4, Acacia's Colt. 5, Thunders to Rest. 6, Starlight Dream. Moorlands Brisk is 7. And Zeus Hanover 8. This field is now in motion, and there they go. They're off and trotting. Zeus Hanover made the break, leaving. Up on the outside, Starlight Dream and Moorlands Brisk battle for the lead. Moving away between horses, that's Thunders to Rest and Acacia's Colt. Should Place 5th along the rail. Park Hill Garnet 6th into the turn. Kawartha One Step is 7th. And Zeus Hanover 8th. Around the turn, on the way to the quarter-mile marker, Acacia's Colt powering to the front for Doug High. Down along the rail, Starlight Dream is 2nd. Moorlands Brisk 3rd. Should Place 4th. Dropping in 5th, Thunders to Rest. Opening panel 30-1. They move through the stretch. First time with Acacia's Colt on top of the field. Trotting second is Starlight Dream. Moorlands Brisk is third. Should place fourth. Thunders to Rest fifth. Park Hill Garnet is sixth. Kawartha One Step seventh. And Zeus Hanover eighth. They pass 3/8 and Cage's Colt has the lead a length and a quarter. Into the clubhouse turn second is Starlight Dream. Moorlands Brisk is third. Should place trotting in fourth. Thunders to Rest fifth. Park Hill Garnet is sixth. Kawartha One Step is seventh and Zeus Hanover eighth. 1:01 4/5 to the half-mile marker. Cage's Colt shows the way to the backstretch. Final time. Right there, second Starlight Dream with Moorlands Brisk third. Should place looking and going to the outside fourth with 3/8 remaining. Up on the outside fifth, Kawartha One Step. Sixth at the rail is Thunders to Rest. Seventh down the backstretch, Park Hill Garnet and Zeus Hanover's eighth. They're going to 3/4. Cage's Colt has the lead. Should place up on the outside second. Starlight Dream down along the rail third. They trot 3/4. 1:33 Cage's Colt with the lead. Should place is second. Starlight Dream third. Moorlands Brisk tips to the outside fourth. Thunders to Rest fifth. Kawartha One Step sixth. Park Hill Garnet seventh and Zeus Hanover eighth. They turn home. Final furlong. Cage's Colt with the lead. Should place on the outside. Starlight Dream nowhere to go. Moorlands Brisk closing at him on the outside. Should place in Cage's Colt. Moorlands Brisk on the outside. Cage's Colt with Should place, and here they are.
Well, the winner of this race was the number 4 horse, Cage's Colt, with Doug High aboard. Doug getting his second winning drive of the night. Cage's Colt here in the winner's circle. The whole family's in the winner's circle as Doug High owns this horse along with Stu Cockshut of Burlington. There's the family picture. Little girl coming in at the last moment. Cage's Colt is on the top of the screen with the lead, closing up with a rush on the outside. The 2 horse Should place. Should, and did place. As we take a look at the odds board right now, you'll see Cage's Colt return 744, 63.90. The number 2 horse Should place paid 765.50. Number 7 Moorlands Brisk 370. There's the exactor 83.90, and the Cornellas, strangely enough, paid 109.80. The time 2, 2, and 4. Let's find out now how our handicappers made out.
Well, gentlemen, that was a pretty impressive start. It looked like they were running 1 and 2 just about all the way around. Leo, number 6, what happened?
I think Ron's horse got in front of me there, and he wouldn't let me out. So he kept me in against the rail, and the others came up, nowhere to go.
What do you think? It's a lucky break?
I think it was just a lucky break for Ron that he knew which one to pick.
Okay, Ron, do you agree with that? Was it a lucky break, or is there more to it?
I'll have to confess a little bit now, James, because most of those 35 years that you mentioned a while ago, I spent with trotters. So Cage's Colt is a favorite of mine, and I've seen him race a lot, and he's a good trotter. And I've drove quite a few trotters myself, so Leo doesn't need to take a back seat, you know, James. His horse was right there, too. It was a photo.
Right.
So, go ahead.
He came up a winner once again.
Yes. So I think I had a little advantage over Leo because I've spent most of my time with trotters, and he's a pacing man.
Well, they were both pretty good hunches.
Yes.
Gentlemen, thank you very much, and happy racing.
Thank you.
As you've probably gathered by now, producing top contending racehorses requires a lot of patience, hard work, and dedication on the part of those involved, even before the horse is conceived and born. I'm speaking now with veterinarian Dr. Peter Johnson. And Doctor, tell us, just how heavily does breeding weigh into the effort to produce world-class horses in Ontario?
In my personal opinion, I think that breeding is really basically everything. Without intelligent decisions on your breeding, you're just looking like for a needle in a haystack. You're hoping for a lottery ticket otherwise. If a horse is sound himself, he will pass on this soundness. If he is a winner himself, he'll pass on these characteristics. Everything that a horse is part of his genetic makeup, whether it's his look, his size, his speed, his gait. He won't pass it on 100% of the time, but he will pass on. If he's a sick horse, a horse that was sick a lot, his foals, some of them will take up this characteristics. So this is why, in my opinion, you want to breed to stallions that were good racehorses, because if they were good racehorses, they had the characteristics necessary to be good racehorses and pass these characteristics on. One time we had very few stallions here, and they were of mediocre quality, but now our stallions are getting as good as any of them. The Ontario Sires program has just had a tremendous influence on the horse business in Ontario. I'm more and more concentrating along this aspect myself. I have part interest in the stallion that stands here in Ontario. We hope he's going to be successful. He's getting an adequate book of mares, and his foals sure look good. They're going to the yearling sales this year. We're trying to get better and better mares, the breeders in Ontario, to breed to the Ontario stallions. And the program is lucrative. It's fun. You get to see all of Ontario, go to the different tracks. I'm really looking forward this year to racing a filly throughout Ontario. We raced in Orangeville last Sunday, where I have only raced once previously, but it's kind of like a camping weekend away from home and make some money while we're doing it.
We're all set now to bring you the third of the Ontario Sire Stakes events, the final one for the evening, going for a purse of $11,028. Now, the battle in this particular event is going to come from the center of the pack. First of all, we've got number 6, Professor Thompson, a colt from out of Doug McIntosh's stable of Wheatley. This colt has had 4 lifetime starts. He has won all 4 races, so he is undefeated with a record of 159-3. The 7 horse is getting lots of action because he's the horse of the favorite. Well, he's a favorite of a lot of people around here. This is Sue's Jake. He's a senior skipper colt. He's owned by Helen Hunt from Tweed, Ontario, and trained by Pat Hunt, and he will also do the driving. This Sue's Jake has a record of 2 minutes and 2/5. Now, the unknown quantity in this race is the number 5 horse, Back to Basics. This was one of the top 2-year-old colts in the Ontario Sire Stakes back in 1985. Now, Back to Basics has only had a qualifier so far this year. Now, the question that is yet to be answered is Back to Basics ready for this class now? We're going to find that out in just a few moments. The horses you have to watch: number 5, Back to Basics; number 6, Professor Thompson; and number 7, Sue's Jake. Let's head out onto the track right now for Grant Wade's call of the 7th race.
Kawartha Downs is named after the Kawartha Lakes tourist region, and there'll be nothing more than the land of the shining waters with that full moon tonight over the Kawarthas. The lakes will be brilliant, and we have a brilliant race coming up here, third division of the Ontario Sire Stakes. 3-year-old colt pacers are in the hands of starter Gord Channing. It's post time. As they move in behind the starting gate, number 5, Back to Basics, on his 2-year-old career, is the favorite of the people here on the grounds, $5.40. The gate swings into the backstretch for the 7th race, and there they go. They're off and pacing H.M. Campton away quickly. Polly's Mike at the rail, Armbro Equity in the center. Up on the outside, Professor Thompson and Sue's Jake. Back to Basics in the center going after them. Opponents, Prince far outside, Unga Boy, Payson Robert, and Tybo off stride. As they move around the turn, showing the way, Armbro Equity. Professor Thompson ranging up on the outside second. He'll go after and get the lead for Doug McIntosh. Sue's Jake ranging up third on the outside. H.M. Campton along the rail fourth. Opening panel, 29-1. Through the stretch, first time, Professor Thompson with the lead. Here comes Sue's Jake. Right after him. Now gets the lead for Pat Hunt at the 3/8 marker. Sue's Jake, Professor Thompson, and Armbro Equity all there together. H.M. Campton a couple lengths back and forth. Back to Basics to the outside 5th. Polly's Mike 6th. Hunga Boy 7th. Payson Robert is 8th. Racing 9th. Opponent's Prince. And 10th is Tybo as they go around the turn to the half. Sue's Jake takes them over to the half-mile pole. 59-3. They go to the backstretch. Final time, Sue's Jake. Here comes Back to Basics up on the outside. Draws alongside and challenges Sue's Jake with 3/8 to go. In the pocket, Professor Thompson 3rd. Polly's Mike looking 3 wide from 4th. Armbro Equity 5th. Hunga Boy is 6th. Payson Robert 7th. H.M. Campton 8th. Racing 9th. Opponent's Prince, and Tybo is 10th. Polly's Mike reaches up in the center of the track and gets the lead as they go to 3/4 past that mark. 1:28-4. Third panel and 29-1. Around the turn, and Sue's Jake is coming on again. Polly's Mike 2nd, Professor Thompson 3rd, Armbro Equity 4th. Back to Basics 5th as they turn home. Final furlong, Sue's Jake shows the way. Professor Thompson in the center, here comes Armbro Equity. They'll battle it out for the final 16th. Sue's Jake, Professor Thompson, Armbro Equity. Sue's Jake, Armbro Equity 2nd, and here they are.
Well, the winner was number 7, Suze Jake, and look at this group
We've
that was
got a
in the
family.
winner's circle. How about a cheer from the group for your horse? Yeah! Isn't that something to have a fan club for your horse? Well, Suze Jake was the winner, and Suze Jake into the winner's circle, as you saw right here. Coming back with Pat Hunt. Pat trains this horse. He drives this horse. The horse is owned by Helen Hunt. Now, is that Mother? Mother. Okay, so Mother, this is the Hunt family here. As they came down to the wire, you've got Suze Jake on top here by 2 lengths, closing up on the outside. The number 3 horse, Armbro Equity, and third, number 6, Professor Thompson. And Suze Jake takes a new lifetime record tonight of 157-4, and Suze Jake returned $6.90 to win. So here's the group in the winner's circle, and we're all set now to just wrap it up in a minute.
Well, there are another 4 races to go here at Kawartha Downs, but that just about wraps it up for us time-wise. Special thanks to our track announcer, Grant Wade. Of course, racing continues here every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday evening at 7:30 is post time. Our next Ontario Sire Stakes event coming your way is July 22nd, I believe.
That's right. Right here at this very track, you're going to get a chance to see some of the darlings of the Ontario Sire Stakes. They're the 2-year-old filly trotters. Now, these little babies get out there, and they really trot their brains out, to tell you the truth. They are something to see. But if you don't want to wait till July 22nd, of course, try and make it on out to Kawartha Downs in any event. We had a good time tonight.
We certainly did. We love to have you here. We've been glad to have you here. And that just about wraps it up for us.
That's it. Look for the Ontario Sire Stakes, which you've seen on this very station as well. You'll see those reports on Gary Dalladay's Sportscast, usually every Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday evening. It's been great being here. And
thank you.
Here, the next races in the background. I think I'm going to head to the window.
Okay, let's go.